So regarding the police and the government, and a rift that I can see growing between these two institutions. Have you actually been confronted by a police officer since the introduction of this pandemic? I haven't. I've walked past police officers without a mask on. I've walked into shopping centres without lining up to do the QR code check-ins when there's been police in my field of vision, and they haven't said anything to me, right? Almost no one said anything to me, actually. I think one security guard in the past 18 months. The stories I get from most people are actually the mandates imposed by the government. They seem to be getting enforced by ordinary people and group pressure rather than the police. Ordinary people, obsequious bootlickers and do-gooders, they seem to be pressuring other people in society to obey these government mandates. But I'm not seeing much evidence that the police are enforcing them. Sure, there is some videos out there of heavy-handed police actually making buffoons of themselves, in my opinion, when they manhandle women, ordinary people who are protesting a lockdown in full, organised, disciplined military outfits. It's a little bit embarrassing on the part of the police, I think, because it's not really necessary to use that much force to try to contain simple dissent or disobedience. It makes them look very aggressive, and I can't help but think it's deliberate on the part of the government to try to turn ordinary people against regular boots-on-the-ground uniformed police officers in order to encourage dissent against an enemy which is not the real enemy. What am I saying here? I think the government and the people who sponsor and influence, lobby the government, they don't want eyes on them. They want you to be focusing on cops instead, right? They're very good at doing this. They're very good at putting up a prop and getting you to attack that decoy prop and hate on that prop. Direct your energy onto the prop rather than them. I remember when I first got involved in political activism, I started criticizing the government, and I made a speech against the two-party system, and I was trying to highlight how parliamentary politics and the two-party system is a complete farce and that we need a whole new system. And who stood up between me and the government? So-called anti-fascists and radical leftist activists, right? And I was expected to direct all of my energies onto them instead of the State Department, instead of the bureaucrats at the State Department and those who fund them, you see. So even though there is going to be aggressive, heavy-handed cops out there behaving like buffoons, making idiots of themselves, there's going to be some hardcore bootlicking bureaucrats trying to impress their government overlords. The majority of police officers, I think, are actually against these COVID mandates, and a lot of them aren't enforcing it. There is evidence of this, and I'll get into that soon, but I think it's important to remember who the real enemy is to our nation, to our country and our countrymen, our families, us as people. The enemy is not just ordinary cops, right? These are kind of a distraction, okay? It's the people who give those cops their orders. Of course, these cops should not obey their orders in a lot of cases. Sometimes they choose to, but in a lot of cases, I don't think they are now, and that's a good sign. But we need to be focused on the real enemy, and that enemy are these sellout politicians, major media editors and journalists, and the corporate billionaires behind them sponsoring them.